What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of the Main Stand. I'm here today, as always, with Josh and Mitchell, and we're joined by a very special guest, someone we've talked about getting on the pod a lot over these past few weeks here. Finally cut some time out of his very busy schedule to come chat shit with us for an hour. We've got Sebastian Pettitt with us here today.
Guys,
Sebastian, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
wait, before he does that, guys, Bass finally put his friends first before work.
Oh, boo. Yeah, boo. All right. How are we doing, guys? It's good to be here. Love you all, and I'm blessed to join you in holy podcasting matrimony here today.
It's going to
What
be
brings
magic
you
happen
here?
today, I feel it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's going to be phenomenal. I guess start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you support, why you support them.
All right. Well, I have been a Chelsea supporter for quite some time now, for most of my childhood and adult life, and have always, as long as I've pretty much been playing, have looked up to the main players in the team throughout history. But it doesn't really tie me to one league or one team. I love a lot of clubs across the world. Enjoy MLS, the Revolution. It's great to see what they're doing, and I know we'll talk about MLS today. A lot of cool stuff there this season. I enjoy what's left of Werder Bremen in Germany. They're a bit down right now, but to say the least. But and then Italian ball being what it is, I still enjoy some AC Milan here, there. So, but I do broadcasting a lot, both on online on Twitch, and then with USM, where I went to school and where I work now, men's and women's in the fall, and then plenty of other sports throughout the year. So it's a blessing to be able to work in sport in some fashion, and get to use my brain and what I love, which is this sport, and kind of turn it into something good.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. And, this isn't just a random guest. We all know each other before, if I can talk today. Mitch and Pat have known you, since you guys were all little wee lads?
Yeah, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, something. Bass and I have a really funny friendship story. Started on Twitter, and then I think I got him to play indoor soccer with us one year, and then convinced him to transfer schools his senior year of high school. And then we've just been homies ever since, even though he's a filthy fucking Chelsea supporter.
I am through and through.
And I got to know Bass. I was a year or two ahead of Pat, and then a year ahead of Bass. I know that in school, and I didn't actually really get to know Bass until college. Really get to know Bass.
Right.
He started sleeping on my couch. We deemed him our dorm room dog. He was our pet.
Life's hard, man.
And we actually had a whiteboard up in my dorm room with our tallied total of head-to-head FIFA record.
months plus long.
This lasted my sophomore and junior year of college while I was living on campus.
Multiple FIFA titles long.
I think it started in FIFA 12 or 13 and ran up to 15 or 16. I think it was...
There's a ton of them, yeah.
This was a long time. So Bass and I, outside of soccer, have gotten to know each other really well. He's like my little brother, and we're extremely excited to have him on the pod this week. Ton of stuff happened this weekend.
I need to give my Bass story, too, because mine's pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
Wow, listen to this.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
So I knew Bass directly through Mitch. I knew Mitch before going to college, and that's directly how I met Bass. We met up at a re-raw in Portland to watch Liverpool Chelsea. And that day, Jordan Henderson hit a bomb against that lizard Courtois.
Yeah.
Great day.
I didn't hear you lie about anything there.
Now you can get into it, Mitch.
Now we can get into it. We had a ton of stuff happen this weekend, boys. A big weekend back in the Premier League. I guess we can start with the MLS because that's kind of how we usually have been kicking things off. Josh, tough weekend for the Loons.
I thought they had it, man.
I did
thought
too.
They scored that first goal, and I was like, yes, holy shit, they're gonna do it. And then they were playing at Seattle, and it was just inevitable.
Right, and then the second half happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
full
everything happened in the
transparency.
second
I didn't
half.
watch the game. This looks real plastic of me. I was at Thanksgiving, out of my
Fake Loons
control,
fan.
and on our way back, second half had no service. That's what life is like out here in Minnesota. So that's what I'm going to blame it to. But I was fully transparent. Didn't watch the game. It does suck that my first season as an MLS supporter is over, though. I didn't expect them to win, and Tyler Miller being out surely did not help us. St. Clair.
I don't think it
goal.
hurt you though. I really don't think it hurt you. Watching St. Clair, none of the goals were his fault. None like it was. They were goals that were just inevitable, and I don't think it happened. I don't think it was on St. Clair at all. Obviously, having COVID is going to take you out of the game, and this was a game time decision. I think his results came in like 12 hours before kickoff, if that. So I mean, the Loons played a really good game for a low seed going into a game so tough against an established club like the Timbers. It's honestly, I feel like it's almost the Anfield of the MLS, where it's just such a crazy fan atmosphere. It's so established. It's been there for years, and it's just a different culture than the rest of the MLS. And I think the Loons went out and put on a very solid performance. I think they should have at least forced some extra time. But it wasn't on the goalkeeper at all. It was just Portland went out and won the game.
And if I go back and look at the goals, maybe I'll agree with you after that. Tyler Miller is one of the best keepers in the MLS. I still think losing him probably impacts the game a little bit. I'm happy Fragapane got a goal. Usually the Loons are a team that starts out slow and kind of builds throughout. So to see him start off and snag a 1-0 lead was nice to see. A lot of work to do in Minnesota, though. It was a great first season supporting them. I think it's a real class MLS franchise. It has a culture of fans. It has a great environment, great stadium. A lot of the things that are just foundations of, a good club, especially here in America. I'm excited to keep supporting them. Now it's time to fire Adrian Heath and send him back to fucking Everton.
Yeah,
send him back.
But, that is the way of the road. As a Rebs fan, we can talk about having not great coaches and then falling into gold. That is Bruce Arena. So,
how did that even come to be?
He stopped coaching the men's national team at the exact moment we needed a new coach, right?
And he's like, I like red, white, and blue. Let me go here. They have an American flag crayon logo.
Get in there. And now it's just I did not like you for the men's national team, but bless what you've done for my New England Revolution.
Yeah.
So the Revs kick off against New York City FC on Tuesday this week. Mitchell will be there. So maybe follow along the Instagram. Maybe Mitchell will get a little bit of content while he's there, but
I'll throw some pictures up. I'm going by myself this time. Technically by myself. We've got some mutual friends that I will be picking up on my way down and meeting me there. Unfortunately, the Fort tickets have all sold out, so they'll not be sitting with me. But we will be able to be there and experience it together. New York City FC. Moving past Atlanta. That Atlanta side looked flat.
Yeah, but that New York side looks good.
They look very
getting
good.
Caught right at the right time, and any format of sport that you have playoffs to determine, who ultimately is the winner of your league, as opposed to how the Premier League is just 38 games, the most consistent team wins it. Yeah. In this format, getting hot when they got hot, they're scary coming into.
They are. Tuesday, they looked so good against Atlanta. Obviously, Atlanta's a good side. They are the most expensive side in the MLS. Have put the most money into their club. I think what is it, $38 million in their front three,
maybe
something like that. And Martinez obviously coming off of an injury. He looked flat. I don't know. It wasn't Atlanta's game to win at the end of the day, and the Revs will be taking on New York City FC.
How do you feel about that game, Mitch? How are we feeling?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous watching New York City, and them having a game in the last almost month. The Revs are going to be sitting off for 23 days. 23 days with no games, no competition. So they're going to need to dig deep and find something. I think Gustavo Bo signing on a new contract is going to be huge for the Revs. Mm-hmm. I think Carlos Gil getting the recognition he deserves for comeback player of the year.
And Matt Turner. Don't forget Matt Turner.
And we have Matt Turner and net goalie of the year. It's a very strong Rev side. I am nervous. I think that's a given with taking that much time off from playing. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think the Revs have the tools necessary to go out and get the job done. I'm excited to be there. I'll be heading down probably a little bit early. I think our friend Steve is getting out of work early, so I'll be heading down as early as possible. It's a 7:30 kickoff. So it's going to be a late night for your boy with a 3-hour drive back after the game, but well worth it. And I'll be there December 4th or 5th when the Revs beat New York City FC this upcoming Tuesday. Tuesday at 7:30. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's a tough time
for soccer, baby.
A playoff MLS game. I don't know what they're thinking, but I definitely feel positive about this game 6 days from now. And you go back and look at the regular season, they play 3 times, once each at their home stadium. Revs took care of business pretty handily at home, and then at NYC in Yankee Stadium, which a lot. I mean, if you go through every away team's MLS, any team on Twitter, it's all full of complaints about going to play Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium's the smallest legal field you can have.
Yes, and it's a box. It's it's the size of my almost the size of my high school field, and it is interesting to see because you have to play differently there. There's no doubt in my mind you have to play differently there. They lose 2-0 in that stadium, and that's one of the few losses that team endured with or without its stars. The third time they played was actually at Red Bull Arena. The Revs win it 3-2. So, not at home, but it's a win. So they've won away from home and at home against this team. But they have lost to them. They know how to lose to them. New York City knows how to beat them. So, you do have to carry that with you. I don't know the situation of that 2-0, who was available, who played, who didn't. But, you have to feel really good about Bruce Arena being your coach. He shows up with a handful of MLS championships already. He knows how to navigate the MLS playoffs. He's beaten the Revs in the final twice, 3 times maybe.
I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, you're right.
Right. But it's important to talk about because it's never felt better than it has right now. If there was ever going to be a year the Revs were going to get their first one, it was going to be this season, 100%. They're way better than 2014, and we can talk about the 2014 run and Farrell's rookie year and how talented players were.
Speaking of soccer and college dorms, I remember sitting on my couch with Bass watching that game. Yep. It was gutting. It was gutting. The Revs have come so close so many times.
0-4 in MLS Cup final.
And right now, Bass, you make an impeccable point. Having Bruce Arenas as your manager, as your head coach, feels good. You have to put that trust there because as an international manager, you're used to taking time off and not having your squad ready and not being able to play games with them. Yeah. He has them there. They're running through their paces. They're doing what they need to do to get ready for this game. Obviously, Team A playing Team B is not going to do anything in a scrimmage. It's not going to do anything to get you prepared for another starting 11 side from New York City FC. but I think Bruce Arenas, out of every manager in the MLS, is going to be the guy to have the Revolution prepared for this amount of time off. I don't think it's you don't see this in other American sports. You don't see this in basketball, you don't see this in baseball, football, etc., where a team is taking almost a month off before playing their first playoff game. It's unheard of. So I think the Revs they realize that, they know that, and they're going to go out and get the job done. I'm nervous for it. I'm giving New York City FC the credit they deserve. After watching the performance they just put out against Atlanta and the performances they've had coming up into the playoff push. But I do ultimately think the Revs will get the job done on Tuesday night, and I'm ecstatic to be there. And then
I think it'll be like a 2-1. That's my my ultimate Pat's prediction.
I'm saying 3-2. I'm saying 3-2. I like the 1-goal differential, but I think I don't know. It's there's more space for both teams to go out and play. I think New York will. I guess New York is going to have an adjustment coming onto this pitch. It's a lot more space, so we'll see how things go.
Speaking of adjustments, how about Man United now getting ready to get used to life without Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I want to say R.I.P. Ole. Thank you for all of the good memories. Thank you for the banter. Thank you for everything you provided us as fans of rival clubs. You will be you'll be dearly missed by all of us, and I think you deserved a little more time.
I think we all agree with that.
I think Gary Neville thought the same thing as well.
So did Rio Ferdinand. He wanted to give him the contract like 3 games in. So I guess that's probably a good place to start is, so why did they wait so long? Why did he keep getting chances? Like, I mean, we can talk about the fact that he would have like a bad run and then like bail himself out with a big win. Like you can think back to like that knockout win against PSG in the Champions League a couple of years ago. And then like that big derby win against City in the league to like just stop us from winning the league. It didn't really do anything in hindsight. And then the win against Liverpool, right? They beat you guys a couple years ago. Like a couple of like one-off wins against big clubs, like kind of saved his job. But like ultimately, wouldn't this rebuild have been easier if they just sacked him last year and brought in Conte, who was available?
Yeah.
Right.
That is the easier option. They just they had to kind of wait a few more weeks just because of the situation at hand of there not really being anyone available right now. Everyone's kind of occupied at another club. In reality, losing to your biggest rival at home 5-0 is probably the game you should get sacked with any team. I think even if there isn't someone, if it ultimately just came down to losing a few more games and then appointing Michael Carrick as your interim manager, they should have done it after the Liverpool one, because that was when things started to get real gross for Man United.
Well, then if City went out and embarrassed them at Old Trafford too, and then they got embarrassed by Watford another week later.
So if your whole plan was just to do it after you lost a few games, then put Carrick in charge until you find a new manager, I don't see why they wouldn't have just done that a couple weeks ago. They went out and won against Villarreal in the midweek, so who knows? Maybe they'll have a little bit of resurgence with Ole gone.
That midweek win, the win against Villarreal yesterday, that really just felt like, it felt like Ole was still their coach, though. Like, they looked pretty meh, and then they got bailed out by a late Ronaldo goal, and then they scored one more, like, right at the end.
Yeah,
like,
Sancho caught kind of like Mr. Irrelevant goal of the year, scoring in, like, the 91st minute with, like, 10 seconds left.
It felt like Ole was still the coach. So I think until they bring someone real in, the club is still going to be funny. And that being said, the words from Ten Hag sound like he's kind of dismissing his links there. Poch said he's happy at PSG. And if you're Pochettino, I get it. Man United are a big club and whatever. But if you're Pochettino and you're taking that Man United job over PSG right now, you are a lunatic.
Mm-hmm. You have to be. I mean, I think it almost boils down to the ownership, the front office. PSG is a little bit more organized. They know what they're doing. And I think there's a lot more questions at United in their ownership and what they're willing to let you get away with.
I mean, also Pochettino gets to coach Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar.
But on the same coin, you get Ronaldo at United with fucking.
Rather
You
have
get
Messi,
fucking.
Mbappe, and Neymar
You
than
get
Ronaldo and McTominay.
You're McTominay. I mean, you get Sancho. You get fucking Bruno Fernandes. There's key pieces sitting at United in a position that they shouldn't be in. Those players should be getting better. They should be winning games. They should have some sort of semblance. And at the end of the day, it is on coaching staff. It is on Ole. He is the manager. He is the one working with them week in, week out. And if this is the product we're getting with players like Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Maguire, what is the deal? So We're going to have to see what plays out over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have to see who opens up as a managerial target. If Ten Hag is happy where he's at, if Poch is happy where he's at. I honestly, personally, Poch has done his time in the Prem. Let him go give PSG a chance. Let him have his time there. He hasn't been there long enough to say, yeah, I'm coming right back and I'm gonna take the helm of United. I just don't know if there's a candidate at the managerial position right now that fits United, that fits every fucking clusterfuck that's going on there. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Mitch is saying in a way, but for these managers, it's a different career ideology than a player. Like, a player wants to be at the top of their game. The player wants to do the best they can at the club they're at, provide, win trophies, and if not, find something else. Whereas if you're a coach, you are building, trying to win things. You're at PSG. PSG is a good place to be, but there's one challenge in front of you, and it's the Champions League, and it's elusive, and you should want to win that. That's the thing you should ascend to. But over here, we have a mess. We have a mess in Manchester for sure, and that's we can say you can say obviously this, that, the other thing, but it's way worse than it should or needs to be. And I think if you are a person who wants to consider yourself a top manager, that there is opportunity there, but it can go horribly wrong, and it has for a lot of very strong, popular names in the last, I don't know, what are we at now? 8 years?
Since Fergie, yeah.
Like Fergie leaves.
It's been 9 years since Ferguson.
So it's been 9 years since he left. And when that happened and David Moyes was at Everton, we all, and not all of us, obviously we dislike Everton, certain people dislike
Everton.
People looked at David Moyes and said, that guy can be a top manager, not necessarily at United, but just in general. And then he went there and it was like,
it's like, yo,
okay,
what is happening?
But look at the success Moyes is having now.
Right.
Look at what he's doing now. So if we look at that, that's a great point you just brought up. If we look at that, what is the common denominator?
Well, managing
fucking ownership.
It's the club.
Hold on. Managing a club like United is way different than managing a club like Everton or West Ham.
Yep.
I get that.
Liverpool, you manage City, you manage Chelsea. Those are the top clubs.
Yes, they are the elite clubs. I get that.
It's different. It's way different managing a club like that.
I understand it's different, but the tools that he had at his disposal were impeccable, much like Ole.
Yep.
And it still couldn't happen. It still didn't work. Van Gaal, same thing. He's a fantastic manager, but when you come into United, the shit hits the fan. And I don't get, how can you look at that and say it's on the manager, it's on the players? Clearly, there is something going on with the Glazers. that is causing this to happen.
Well,
There has to be something behind the scenes that's consistently bundling managers at United.
I agree, but I don't, because it's not like managers haven't gotten signings. They've gotten players they've wanted, they've gotten backing. It just feels like it's not like, obviously I think Man United would be better under owners that are like going to care about the club a little bit more and like consistently put money into this club. But it's not like they didn't give Mourinho, a guy who's like widely regarded as one of the best managers ever, like they gave him $100 million Pogba and a $100 million Lukaku, Sanchez. They signed him players, and he still got sacked a year and a half later. So
but is it him, or is it the ownership expectations of the manager not getting like that pressure that they're putting on whoever it may be? Like, is that what is causing them to crack?
I don't know if it's the ownership pressure. I think it's just the pressure of managing Man United. They haven't found that guy who can handle that level.
But that pressure's there at Chelsea. That pressure's there. Any top 6 club that you go to in the Premier League, that pressure is going to be there.
But Chelsea and City and like these new clubs specifically, when you mentioned Chelsea and City, even though Chelsea go through like a mad cycle of managers. They're like a funny story too, but they were never regarded as literally the biggest and best club in the world, like Man United are. There's like an extra like level of pressure that a lot of these
There's a layer to the onion
manage that club are getting. And I think that's where a lot of it is coming into, is like they find these guys that are like good coaches, and Man United, just like the club as a whole, is just breaking them.
Yes, I agree with that. My 2 cents on the whole thing is that Man United needs a transformational leader, not someone that's transactional. You can't blame it on the owners, because you look at the summer they just had. They signed Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo. But Man United fans still like to break out their little fucking yellow and green scarves and chant Glazers out. They've been well-backed. Ole was well-backed. It's on Ole. They need a transformational guy, but they're never going to get a transformational guy, because no transformational manager like Ten Hag wants to go to a club that's run like an international business. Because United is the most business-run football club in the world. Because it is one, but no manager wants to go do that when they're trying to build a project, make people believe, inspire people. People like Klopp and Guardiola. And that's why Man United's getting these like mediocre guys, because those are the only guys willing to accept that project. And then when they get there, they just can't get enough out of the players and the deadwood that was there left behind from the past manager.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense in a way. And I think that, you know, in describing what you just described, Josh, it does spin back to the Glaciers, because it's like, so no manager is going to come here that is truly transformational. But what is the one reason why? It's not the players. These guys aren't like Mourinho, or not even like Mourinho's a great example, because they brought in the players. He said, "This is what I want," and they said, "Okay." And then, you know, the trophy didn't fall down from a tree the next day, so, you know, people got mad. But, you know, if you look now, like, you know, Ten Hag possibly out, and like, I think out of all the people that have been named as candidates for this job, Ten Hag is the most intelligent in this moment, the strongest. Like, he's got, you know, he's got Ajax playing the way that they are. They're top of their group. They are, you know, the first team, I think, to go through, or one of them. And, you know, he can sit back and play bullshit lineups for 2 back-to-back Champions League games and focus on getting 20 points up in the league, so that the only thing that matters in April is their quarterfinal, or March is their quarterfinal. And, you know, it's you know, he has that luxury of being in Amsterdam, playing in, you know, 2, maybe a 3rd competition. I don't know what their domestic cup is really like over there, but, you know, it's hard to find somebody when you've gone through a half dozen managers who previously were assumed to be at a top level, and then hired in a club legend like you just saw Chelsea do and fail. And it's like, you know, and that's a harsh criticism on my part, because you can, you know, you could sit there and argue for, you know, maybe a month that, look at what Chelsea did last year. Was it really all a failure in the end, or was he just the byproduct to get us to Thomas Tuchel? So that's the thing, is like, did United have a bigger plan when they hired Ole and it just fell through and they didn't want to admit it? Because like they hire, Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, like these are all guys that are, assumed to be, oh, this guy's going to be here for years. This is the start of something new. They hired Ole, and I was like, man, like it feels like when we hired Lampard and, thought, okay, he's going to rebuild the club and like focus on youth for a year and a half and 2 years. And, then we're going to buy someone new. Like I thought we were going to have Poch before he went to PSG. I thought we were going to go Lampard to Poch. And I was like, I was kind of miserable about it. And then Tuchel came along and, I'm obviously a person like me has been not very positive towards PSG with the history they and Chelsea have had over the past years in Champions League and, things on the pitch and stuff like that. But, I think for United right now, Poch is the best way out, to put it shortly, because I think Ten Hag's not coming. And, I don't think you stick with Carrick longer than, keeping somebody there until someone good shows up. But I still am not 100% on board with firing Ole when you knew that you're not really going to have anyone right this second,
Well, I think maybe getting him out lets you think about the rebuild faster, I guess. And, you get that new manager bounce kind of thing. I don't know. He just like literally wasn't working. Like,
I've been thinking about the rebuild for a decade.
Well, okay, you're right.
It also doesn't do much when you keep Carrick and Phelan in charge. Those two are literally the dumbest tacticians possibly in England. And once the new manager gets here, they need to do a complete... I think it's like the mid-management. And like the people... Ed Woodward, I think, is a huge reason why United have failed, year over year. Getting that whole regime out of like ex-United players who have just stuck around, I think is super important. When
we need to behead Rio Ferdinand. That'll solve it. Wait, was that not the path we were going on, Josh?
No, we're not putting Rio in the guillotine.
Gotcha. We haven't talked about Zidane here.
That ain't happening.
Why is the name thrown in the mix, though?
So that people can lose money gambling on it.
Well, they wanted him before.
So Vegas wins.
Responsible betting.
Yeah, Josh, what's the Rick's pick on that?
So last week we went 5 for 8, but if you throw in the 2 articles I put in on my Twitter, Canadian Championship Final and Liverpool Porto, we actually went 6 for 9.
Right. So
wow.
we're gonna go
comfortable 66.
We going 7 for 10 or 6 for 10? Or is United getting Zidane or not?
Probably 3 for 10.
I don't know. I can kind of see it, but I kind of can't. I mean, if we're all like just gonna throw a name out that we think they're gonna get, I genuinely think it's between Poch or Brendan Rodgers. I think those would be the two I would be the least surprised to see go to Man United. I don't think anything's happening until the summer, though.
If Brendan Rodgers goes to United, that's the restart of the rebuild.
We know he's willing to take the bait and do it.
He's going to want to go in there, play a 3-4-3, and that's going to be it. I don't think Rodgers is the right fit for United. Sitting here watching him as a Liverpool supporter, I know time changes. He's doing okay things right now.
Leicester aren't great at the moment
with Leicester, but it's not a place I think Rodgers is fit to manage. And I think that'll just make the situation worse. I don't know. United is a fucking dumpster fire right now. It's bad. It's bad.
Honestly, without them winning trophies, I do almost miss the way that it used to be. Like with that, early 2010s when there were potentially 6 teams in September that could all win, and United was one of them, and I had to hate it, and I had to like we play United this weekend, and I honestly think it's a huge trap game. And I know we're gonna get to picks, predictions, whatever. It's a huge trap game, and I worry about it because it's like so obvious. It's way too obvious, and it's like, you know, you almost miss it, like the chase of like having to deal with these guys, and it's like, I don't want to see them become, you know, like I'm trying to think of like a good example, but like, you know, in the Blackburn in the 90s, biggest like
You say you wouldn't like that. I personally would adore it.
Nottingham Forest in the 80s.
well, yeah, you were in, it wasn't that long ago that your club were finishing in ninth, and it was like,
Yeah, but we improved. They're just steady dropping.
I think it's impossible for them to stay down for forever.
Well, yeah, obviously they're going to find the right fit. It's Man United, but I think there's a lot of changes that are going to come. I think they need to get fully out of their banter era before they can really get into like finding their next replacement. And
Yeah, they got to want to commit to somebody for more than 2 years.
they gave Ole like 3 and it just didn't work.
I mean, we're only 5 years removed from our cringe years. Like that's the thing people like forget to talk about. Like this Klopp transition has happened so fast
Yo,
and so relentlessly. Like we had Brendan Rodgers 5 years ago.
do you guys remember when Steven Gerrard's last Premier League game was capped off with a 5-0 loss to Stoke?
Shut the fuck up. Why do you have to talk?
I do remember that, by the way. Just making sure that you knew I remembered that, because I do.
And you remember his first game of the Premier League as a manager? He won 2-0.
Yeah. Chelsea cringe era only lasted 14 months. Blessed be my soul.
Yeah, Lampard out. Am I right?
Well, no, not even that. That's not even cringe era. Cringe era was end of Mourinho, beginning of fuck face Goose hitting. And that was bad. We finished 10th. We were in 16th when Mourinho got fired, and it was just like, you know,
I honestly had to have some numbers on speed dial for Bass when that shit was going down.
terrorism balls over the top to Hazard was the mantra for a year, and it made him want to leave the club, which sucks because he would be probably a top 5 player in the world, undoubtedly, if he stayed at the club.
It beat Spurs and won Leicester a title, though, so that's cool.
Yeah. You wouldn't have Captain America.
All right, so that was talking Man United. That club is a disaster. I'm really looking forward to, I guess, seeing what happens with them. Okay, so banter aside, I do hope they get a decent coach in and can make the Premier League.
It's only good for football. It is only good.
At the same time, it'd be really funny if they just never, ever fixed it. Anyway.
Yeah, and instead of 6 teams at the top, we have 3 teams at the top, all with the best wingbacks in the world right now.
Right. The next piece of housekeeping.
Do you guys think there's just one little addition? Do you guys think there's odds for Sir Alex Ferguson to return?
Yo,
I've thought about it, and I wish because it would arise a lot of curiosity. And the dude is there so much to this day at that stadium. It's like, man, like you're here already. Like you're in people's ears. There's no way you're not talking to Ronaldo every day.
It would be funny.
I know this man. I suffered for years watching this man do his job, thinking that he controlled stoppage time. I used to think this man had a copyright on stoppage time, and I think I don't know if it would work, but I think if he came in for the rest of the season and he was the one that picked the manager when there was one available that he thought was worthy, I think that it improves the name of the club in a lot of ways. And I think it like,
remember the last guy he picked? He handpicked Moyes.
Let me reach into this bag here, and I'm going to get David Moyes.
If you reach into a bag 100 times in your life and you picked out David Moyes the one time the one time you were done, you picked out David Moyes and it was the wrong pick. He did wait 30 years to make a wrong decision, really.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, I don't know. United are a mess. The last piece of housekeeping, since we have all of us here, it kind of is a discussion that carries over from the previous episode. Now that we have Bass here to also discuss Reece James. So Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and João Cancelo are without a doubt the three best fullbacks in the world right now. I would like to propose that we all agreed to stop debating it and just accept that they're the three best and we have the three best. So let's just enjoy
I
them.
think there should be a petition for Southgate to play Reece James at right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold in the right of midfield, and can say, oh, fuck.
He's Portuguese, but you tried.
I was saying,
Josh.
You see where my head was going. I was saying because they all play in the Premier League.
Let's all get dual citizenship.
Just
and
like
everybody gets to
Sebastian
play
Pettitt.
everywhere.
That was a tough one, but
2 for 2 on the fucking mislabeling individuals.
Two things before I have to get all peaceful. One, I don't know if I can stop debating this if I never got to start to begin with.
Wait, do you think Reece James is better than Trent and Cancelo?
Yes, but apparently I'm not going to get to do that today. So the second one is why isn't Southgate like pounding on Ed Woodward's door? By the way, I just realized this right now. Why is that dude like the dude manages England 2 months out of the year? Like, I don't know why he's not trying to like keep his England job and just do the United job after the World Cup.
that should be a thing, honestly, like having managers be able to do countries and clubs at the same time. I think that would be cool. I
can
never
do it
would
in
think
the
Southgate
career
would take
mode,
that
damn
job,
it.
though,
We
because
do it in real life.
winning the World Cup in Qatar would be, the biggest honor in English football history.
If it was going to happen or even come close, I would definitely agree with you. But
I can tell you
I
one
agree,
thing.
it's not going to happen.
It's because it's not Michael Edwards. That's why.
I can't.
but
Sit the
it is
fuck back
also
down
close to
and move
call
on.
between those three right backs right now. So
Well,
It's
one
incredibly
right
close.
back that is a natural right back that also plays as an attacking midfielder in possession.
Here we go again. Pat trying to justify why Cancelo is better than everybody else because he
Why
plays
I
two
think he's
positions.
But I literally gave you all reasons why they're all the best last week.
Yeah,
So I don't
Pat's discussion on that was really good. I just wanted to bring it up again,
In
obviously
depth.
because Bass was here, but also because this weekend they all just played out of their minds, and then Reece James got another goal this midweek. They literally all three played insane.
Mhm.
Trent got 2 assists. Cancelo had the outside of the boot one. Reece James a goal and assist, or
yeah, I believe a goal and an assist. I'd have to go back and look at what
I think it was
just
yeah.
insane.
It's like, looking back at that game as well, it's like ultimately what is going to be a meaningless game. I think the Chelsea Juve game in the end, if we had lost and then gone and won this last one by any sort of ratio, like good ratio, we would have won the group at any rate. I am happy to beat Juventus 4-0 at home. Do not get me wrong. First 3 goals, all Chelsea youth guys. And, you can go and buy all these guys. You can go and buy Werner, who also scored, and I'm very happy about that. You can go and buy these players, these young players that are amazing, and go and win us these trophies. But, as a fan of this club, the thing you oft hear most about is the ridiculous, and I agree, ridiculous youth program that Chelsea has going on. But to see 3 youth graduates play in a Champions League game at the same time and each score a goal against a club, maybe not at the performance level of normal Juventus, but the stature of Juventus in a Champions League game is meaningful. And, none of the goals were in garbage time. Werner's goal was, and that's fine. He needs to put the ball in the net. So, I got to feel pretty good about it. But Reece is just like, I don't know, because, a year ago I would have easily said Trent. I would have, had zero argument and been like, yeah, Reece has some time to go, and before he's going to be there. And, that time is passing faster than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, his career trajectory has been impressive. He like just popped up onto the scene and it just happened. Like he's just became very very good. What feels like overnight. So
Right. And
yeah, I definitely can attest to that. I think he is like I said last week. I think he's a very complete right back. I think he does everything pretty good, and I think that speaks volumes to why he fits in with Tuchel's system so well because he can do that defensive duty, that defensive work that Tuchel really requires of a player. And then he can also like be that wing back, that like width on the right outlet. So I think he's very, very good. Much like I think Trent is very good, and I think Cancelo is very good. I think we're blessed with
we are.
a lot of really, really good players in the Premier League this year, and those three are just kind of like the like icing on the cake, so to speak. It's just like very, very cool to be able to see them playing week in, week out in this league that we all love so very, very much.
Yeah,
Right.
my only point on Trent is that this weekend he got his 51st assist for Liverpool. It took Dani Alves 100 more games to do the same thing for Barcelona.
Yeah, but Dani Alves can actually defend.
I don't think Trent can't defend. I think he's not as good of a defender as Reece James.
Pause. Fact check. Sort of true.
I mean, there are way worse defending right backs in this league, and Liverpool are blessed with the back line that they have to allow him the freedom to go forward. And I think that if they weren't, you might see Trent play differently and more defensively. But like the way Klopp is, and the way Klopp always has been, even at Dortmund, even at Mainz, like Klopp would run at people at Mainz, like a mid-table German team would run everybody besides his two center backs at any fucking team. He'd do it at Bayern. And it's like, you're never going to have a left or a right back. And this isn't a knock on Klopp at all. But with a coach like Klopp, you're never going to have a left or a right back that is looked at saying, oh my God, this is the best defending outside back in the world, because he spends so much time forward. And, if it's going to win you games, if it's going to win you trophies, then good on you. And, as far as I see, I don't understand, like as a Liverpool fan, why you aren't in the hunt for, a trophy this year at minimum. So,
yeah,
he can't defend, but regardless, this is a club that is, if you named three clubs right now that could win the Champions League, I have to imagine with the experience and recency bias that Liverpool has to be one of them. I think it's, as you did four, I'd say it's Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Bayern. They are the only four that possess right this moment what it is to win. And if Klopp has to play the style that he does to win ball games, then he's going to do it. Like he's the number one guy of never change, no matter how good or bad something is.
And that's how we get away with playing James Milner as a wingback. Like,
I mean, he's a utility man. He can play anywhere.
Okay, Josh, I get that. Yes, at the end of the day, he is a utility man. He's a defensive midfielder. He's not going to be the one banging goals. But the way our side shapes up, we don't need a defensive right back. That's not what our right back position calls for, or our left back position. And that's the beauty of the game. Each team is going to set up differently. One right back is not going to have the same job assignment as another. And that's what makes our clubs so dominant, respectively. Right. And having somebody who's a natural midfielder in Trent Alexander-Arnold step up, play our right back role, learn that defensive side, and still maintain his accuracy on the pass, accuracy on the free kick, whatever it may be, his offensive acumen into a defensive position makes us that much more threatening when we're on a counterattack, when we're on a build-up. And I think that's just what sets Liverpool aside from Manchester City side, who sets up a little bit differently, and Chelsea side, who sets up a lot differently. So we'll get into the terrorist ball. We will. But
Talking about.
I think we've really
You don't know what I'm talking about.
do you guys want to get into what went on this weekend in the Premier League, like kind of nitty-gritty?
Yeah, we can tuck into it. I mean, we talked a lot about United.
Yeah.
They got fucking killed by Watford. Maguire is terrible.
4-1.
Um,
4-1.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, if anybody out there has a Twitter, go follow football images that precede unfortunate events. And one of them is Maguire doing his whole like fingers in the ears, this celebration, and then getting dicked on by Watford a week later.
Who was that against, too? It was against the
It was San Marino. It was
San
the 10-0.
Marino. Yeah.
I think so. It was the 10-0 or was the game before, but either way.
It's tough.
Like, I don't have an agenda against Maguire as much of an agenda against Maguire as a lot of people do, but maybe San Marino isn't the team to be doing that.
Yeah, that's not
maybe
to shut the critics up with.
It's not my call at the end of the day, but maybe that's not it.
Maybe that's not it, Chief.
Yeah, like I don't know.
What do we know?
And this is after De Gea saved 2 Ismail Assar penalties, too. It could have been 5-1.
Right.
Yeah, it was a tough day to be a United supporter. Ultimately the game they got all sacked, like we talked about earlier. Not really much else to it. I mean, shout out Watford. I mean, actually, that is something to discuss. And shout out Watford. That win. That's a huge.
Go out and get after it. Like it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It doesn't matter how in or out of form it is. Like it's 3 points, and you're not a club that has the luxury of finishing mid-table every year. So go out and get it.
Honestly. Outside of that, Bass, would you like to chat about how Chelsea beat the piss out of Leicester over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get into that a little bit. I think that Leicester are a team that are capable of not being at the top, but are capable of staying in relevancy in the Premier League, which when you're not a member of what's already been established over the last 2 decades isn't easy to break into unless you have a big takeover, you sign a future, all-star player and, somebody that's going to be a mainstay at your club for years and years and years. Like it's hard to really ascend in this league. And Leicester, a bit of a down right now. I wouldn't call it a full-on down year, but I think that them being out of form and, Chelsea defending the way that they do, leads, sometimes it doesn't lead to goals and sometimes it does. And, it is, there are plenty of jokes to be had, and I even make them when I sit and watch. I'm no stranger to going on Twitter and reading about the Caliban and all of that stuff. I'm not. I understand that it's out there, and
it's out there, Bass.
But at the same time, it's like, man, if my club are gonna get a clean sheet and it's 1 goal against an average side, that's great. And I want to see my teams attack. I want to see fluid ball going forward, and it makes me happy. But to see a player like Mendy in my goal and not really ever be afraid unless it's so obvious that we're getting scored on, like I'm never really worried. Like it's like unless somebody's passing it across the face of goal to an empty net for a tap in, that dude's got a chance. And he's kept our ass out of the jackpot a half dozen times this season. But the 4-0 clean sheets, the 1-0 clean sheets, it all adds up. He's got as many as Czech did in his first 50 games. And you can make an argument about Czech in all time. You really can. It sucks that he played for a country that didn't really break out in an international stage, and he didn't get games outside of club to really prove himself. But you've got a guy 2 seasons in that is replacing the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, and the expectation is massive. And he's come out and he's standing statistic wise next to the greatest keeper in the history of our club and almost one in the history of the Premier League. He is a bigger reason than the defense. I think that the way Tuchel plays is positive. I think it's I don't think it's negative to the game. I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's 2016 Mourinho. I don't think it's, I don't see those similarities nearly as much as I do with that I did 5 years ago when we played defensively.
It's not you can say that with a straight face.
I can say that with an awfully straight
positive.
Face. When was the last time you saw Juventus lose by 4 goals?
All right.
Open a book up. Open a book up and tell me when the last time you saw Juventus lose by 4 goals was.
That doesn't mean it's good for the game. Is Simeone good for the game?
Absolutely
no.
Not.
No.
I'll bitch about Simeone any day, but not every Chelsea game. Not every game looks like that. Not every game looks like that.
I will say, in watching you guys play against Juve, you set up very differently than I had seen you set up in the past. It almost looked like you were set up in a 3-2-5 in possession a lot of the time, with your wingbacks essentially were wingers, and you had like 3 forwards, and it was just Jorginho and Conte, I believe, started with him. I was watching the game at my desk at work, so I didn't actually see the 11. But you guys were set up really high up the field, so unfortunately I couldn't tweet any terrorist jokes about that game because you were playing good ball, all right? Like, I like to banter. Tuchel, so
he does it in a handful of ways. He's not a one-style coach. Like, he showed up last year, and we're pressing every team off the ball the first month, and he's like, it's fine. I don't like. He got exposed 2 months in. He lost 4-0. Oh God, I can't think of it. It might have been Villa. It might have been West Brom.
West Brom.
And he sets up and he gets blown out, and he looks at it as like, okay, this isn't the way. Now I'm gonna go play like a terrorist, and we're gonna see how that goes. And and the end of last season, there was a lot of, as soon as we knew we'd be in the Champions League final and we had no shot at the Prem, at anything, which, even finishing third, I think last season is absolutely fucking hilarious, by the way, after the start that we had. Also, United finished second. So it's that last season is absolute nails on chalkboard.
Dog nuts.
Like, I still don't know what to think of last season, but
City started in 14th and then won the league.
Right. And it's like it really.
Wait, is it Arsenal's year?
It's gotta
all right, let's put that to fucking bed.
But
no, I think you're right. I think, I like to get the jokes off, but they're not total terrorist ball. But for all of the viewers out there, the last thing I'm going to say about this is every time I see Chelsea win, go on YouTube and type in Counter-Strike terrorists soundbite, and that plays in my head every time I see Chelsea have won a match of football.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. But I guess my final thought on that is playing a certain style and winning and getting these clean sheets and inspiring confidence in your defense when you have a hard run of games coming, which they do. December, January, depending on who we draw in the round of 16, December, January is going to suck. And we just lost Chilwell for the season. I'm happy to give Marcus Alonso minutes, and not everybody that supports this club is. I'm happy to do it because since Tuchel's walked in, I've maybe seen Alonso twice and gone, okay, stop doing what you're doing. But there's a dozen occasions where I see him play and I'm comfortable. So
I think he's always looked better in a back five. You saw that under Conte.
Right. Yeah. And if it were me, the first position I would get is probably a left back, but there's other things, we're in a position to buy. We won the Champions League and we technically made money off Hazard and buying all the players we did. We technically made money that summer and then won the league, didn't really buy anybody. So it wouldn't shock me if they went out and, surprised one morning in January and just bought some crazy defender that's unhappy or, not in a good spot at their club and, just came and got the old Tuchel treatment. But it also wouldn't surprise me if we came out this weekend and Tuchel played completely different against a confused United side and went back to the old press for one game. You don't know what this dude is really going to draw up unless it's a must-win game.
Mm-hmm.
And in that regard, if it's a must-win game, why wouldn't you play any different than the way of trying to get the W? And I hate sitting and watching defensive ball unless we're taking it and we're countering the hell out of it. I don't really love to see it. But
Against Liverpool,
I hate seeing my club lose more at the end of the day.
That's
You did
fair.
lose that game.
You know what? I hate it, but that's fair.
Are you going to be
wanna know
without
what I
Mendy
hate?
in the winter, Bass? Is he playing for Senegal?
Every time he goes to play for Senegal, it scares the hell out of
Well,
me.
because
But
AFCON, because we're obviously going to be without some
Right.
players. But if you were without Mendy for a month and a half or so, that would be tough.
it would be tough, and it depends on the run. It depends on the run of games. As Pat wipes his hands menacingly,
Barrida Balaga!
but here's the other thing. Nothing that Kepa has done this season so far in the games that he's gotten has made me say, well, if he's got to play, he's got to play. If he's got to play, I'm gonna be mad. If he's got to play, then he's got to play, and that's fine. And maybe it will be bad, but it seems way more organized. And I haven't heard anything about Kepa's ego, Kepa's angst about being the number 2. There's not one report that suggests an ounce of negativity from the dude. So at this point, after previous managers having there be difficulty, if Mendy goes away for 2 months, I have no choice but to back this guy, and I would do it anyway because he's accepted this role, and he's dealt with the pressure of being the most expensive dude in his position to ever play the game while being a number 2, and has done it gracefully and hasn't been a prick about it. Whereas he had already been a prick, and it really hadn't been as much, pressure on him at that moment in time. So it shows the change, it shows the maturity, it shows the growth. And if it happens, it happens. But there are plenty worse number 2 goalkeeping options at better clubs than Chelsea.
You want to know what concerns me the most? That you, as a Chelsea supporter, have to support the team in the league that has the most players with their kits tucked in.
Tucked in Shirts FC, baby.
It's fucking
Ashford
disgusting.
Wet FC.
It's
Yeah.
fucking disgusting. There is no swag on Chelsea, and these guys actually do play terrible.
I agree with you on every single person on the team tucking in being weird, except for Azpilicueta. That dude has earned the right to tuck his shirt in and act like my dad would if he was 30 years old and a professional soccer player for the rest of his career.
It ain't a construction site.
Have to tuck their shirt in, and I think that does segue nicely into the next game we have on the review, which is City Everton, because the man of the match, Rodri, is shirt tucked in FC, and it suits him perfectly.
Mr. Hand-Me-Down Civic FC.
Dude, right? Hand-me-down
Point
Civic,
A to point B, baby.
making $120K, living in the school dorms. He's got a fucking business degree. Guardiola
just
loves the guy.
Pocketing all of his game checks.
He's just like he's like a Sergio Busquets reincarnate, and I could not be happier with him anchoring our defense. Scored a fucking
Banger.
worldy of a goal against Everton, too. Came off his foot like a fucking tractor engine and just roofed into the top of the net. Phenomenal goal from him. Great game. I think he's the best defensive midfielder in the world right now, easily. And yeah, a really, really comfortable City win over Everton. I don't think any of us thought it was going to be anything different, but
We had the over on 3.5 goals in that one. It was a very tough loss on that bet.
almost there. I was happy.
I can't believe that.
See one more goal go either way, just so Josh could hit on the bet.
Yeah, that was bad. But the last game we're going to review here is Liverpool Arsenal. I'm going to do a little bit of bragging because I called Justin out and told them Ben White and Gabriel were shit, and they were awful against
They were
Liverpool.
dog shit. They were dog shit, but I will do Justin the one thing and read his official statement for the podcast.
Yep.
So we are covering the Liverpool Arsenal game as he asked in his text. He says Liverpool were really, really good Arsenal were not so good. We go again. Arsenal were dog shit. As per usual. Sorry, Justin. Love you. The fan therapy hasn't kicked in quite yet here. But Gabriel looked like shit. We went out and I do side with the Arsenal fans here. Justin made a good point. Liverpool won this game in 20 minutes. They won this game in 20 minutes. Arsenal had a very good first half. I will give them that. They held them at bay, but 20 minutes of lapse will kill you, especially against a side like Liverpool. The boys ran on all cylinders. It was a good game. It was a good game when it was all said and done. What was it, 4-1?
4-0.
4-1, 4-0. Another clean sheet for the boys.
I just want to say that I heard mad talk about this Nuno Tevez guy before the game.
Yeah, who the fuck is that?
He needs to learn some respect, because before the game, he was going on about Mo Salah, saying he didn't know him before the game, but he'd know him after. Yeah, you passed to Jota right for a goal on the second one. That pretty much ended things.
That's through ball, bud.
Can I get a pause? You're telling me that this dude said that he didn't know who Mo Salah was?
No, that Mo Salah didn't know who he was, but after the game he would.
Okay.
Yeah, no. He assisted a goal, so there you go.
And then it was just capped off by a nice Taki Minamino goal to just wrap things up. It was beautiful. Arsenal had to
really love this dude. I respect the hell out of how much you love this dude.
He's not that good. I just love him. He's a good guy, and he always has a smile on his face. And his work rate is amazing.
He's just happy to be here. Yeah. Taki's just happy to be here. And honestly, I'm not too beat up that I didn't get the Mo Salah hat trick call, but Mo did get a goal. We had 4 different goal scorers. Taki getting the last one there. It was a good game. The subs came in, made exponential improvements to the side at that point in the game.
Did you get a hear on the new Minamino song on the Cop, Mitch?
I did not. Are you gonna have to send me another new song?
No, I might just sing it.
Sing it right now.
Minamino, here we go again. Why did Salzburg ever let you go?
Minamino.
It's a good one.
Little ABBA.
ABBA. Arsenal needed to get their heads out of the sky, though, because they were on this whole run of form thing when they played 4 teams that just sacked their manager. So, yeah, we had to take them down a couple pegs.
Yeah, and, I never, I definitely agree with it in a way. I see Arsenal finishing in the top half. I really like these clubs. I think the era of clubs slumping at the start of the season is possible and can sit down there, but I truly think that after, Chelsea finishing 10th and what that truly looked like for a 38 game season, what that truly looked like is pretty, was visible to a lot of these clubs. And I think that there's, more things in place now, more, more ideas of these clubs to keep that from truly happening over the course of time. You talk about how down bad Manchester United was, and we can sit here and talk about that for 30 minutes. We already have, but they still finished second.
Yeah.
To truly go and finish 10th place is an achievement in itself, and not in a good way. But that I think that era is really over. But for Arsenal, 4 wins in a row, the way things have gone this season is good no matter how you spin it. And head in the clouds is one thing. I don't think it's acceptable for these fans to really go on a tear and say they're any better than any of these teams in the top 6. But treat these wins in a bad season in a row, no matter who they're against, as a building block. And even when you lose 4-0 the way you did, that's a team, that's a great Liverpool team. We know it's a great team, but it still is forward momentum for that club. I would never have picked Arsenal to win or maybe even score a goal against Liverpool this past weekend, but I'll still take them, against a minimum of 10 of these clubs in the league.
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Sometimes I just try to get a hot take off, and it really didn't pan out for me this week.
Oh yeah, the whole Arsenal's winning this game
Really
nonsense.
didn't pan out.
Wait, whoa!
Yeah, Pat called an Arsenal win at Anfield.
Sometimes you got to just roll the dice, and just be like, you know what? Fuck it. If they win, I get to be a dick next episode.
That's fine.
Yeah, until you get half your picks wrong and you get bantered on the next episode like I do every week.
I only make like one or two. I make a safe pick, which is City are going to win, and then I make a spicy one, like Arsenal are going to get 3 points at Anfield.
It was definitely spicy. That was the last game of the review. We have some UCL stuff, just a few storylines. We're not going to run through all the games. We already talked about Chelsea-Juve. The rest of the stuff on Tuesday, Group G is just completely wide open. That's the one with Sevilla, Wolfsburg. I think literally every team in that group can qualify on the final day.
Yeah, it's going to be an insane last day in Group G. If you don't have a team in the race, watch Group G.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one to follow. Man United,
they're through.
Clinched their ticket, but Villarreal could fall out to Atalanta on the last day. That's one to keep your eye on, just who's going to get the second spot there. And then
Atalanta,
Barcelona, too.
Barcelona literally have to get a result, right, against Bayern on the last day.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm frozen. Hold up.
You're good.
I'm good. I'm chilling. Word.
Cool.
You are chilling.
And Liverpool clinched their spot in the knockout stages. Good 2-0 win over Porto there. How do you guys feel about that one?
Feel great. Thiago had a screamer. It wasn't exactly the lineup you'd go out and expect to win 2-0 against a fully kitted Porto side. But Thiago had an unbelievable goal. Tsimikas, another great performance.
He's good.
Rest for all the guys. I mean, everybody getting rest. Ox getting minutes, huge. Thiago getting a full set of minutes, huge. Our front three looked great today.
Tyler Morton debut.
Morton looked phenomenal. He keeps putting it as, what is he, 17, 18? 18 years old and putting in these performances in a massive UCL game. And I wouldn't, okay, massive might be a little bit of an overstatement. We're kind of done and dusted in our group. We're 7 points clear of second place at kickoff. But Morton to be able to step into that role, give some guys some rest, let Hendo come in for 25 minutes. Robbo got 25 great minutes, immediately came on, made an impact, had some fire in his gut that he hasn't really had over the last couple of weeks. I think it was a all in all unbelievable 2-0 performance through the setup of the squad to the substitutions. I think that is about as clinical as you can get in this Liverpool side, putting out a less than stellar starting 11 and coming away with a result like that.
That was a good win. It was a good win. Sheriff lost to Real and Inter beat Shakhtar in another group there. Also, I sorry to be jumping around here to go back to the Liverpool, Milan, Porto, Atletico group, but Milan are still alive, right?
They are.
The results today, Milan can still go through if they win on the last day.
Milan put in a fucking 1-0 late winner against
Madrid.
Not Madrid,
Yes.
Atletico.
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 Atletico Madrid.
Brain fry. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you want to talk?
Shut your mouth.
Going over semantics?
That is who calls Atletico Madrid Madrid?
I was just giving you a
Nobody.
hint.
Where do they play? What city do they play in?
Shut your whore mouths. Who has ever called Atletico Madrid Madrid?
I mean,
and meant it.
Everybody else knew what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, happy for Milan to get the job done today, and hopefully we'll get to see them in the last 16. And AC Milan is the current working definition of build back better in the game today. Any club in the world, seeing what they're doing after the last 10 years that they've had is
Crazy.
Pretty crazy, and like it makes me happy to see. It is everyone has an opinion on the guy, but Zlatan's going out there and in a lot of ways is being a true veteran leader and presence in that club when he could be anywhere fucking off and going on Jimmy Fallon, and he could still be in LA doing that and he would get by more than fine and everyone would still like him, but he is picking the hard way. And for a guy that I don't necessarily have to go and respect every career move he's made, but that is one that is a big redemption arc, and it's good to see him leading in a lot of ways by example, and in a lot of ways still being the shithouse that he is. And it's good, and it gives the fans something to get behind when you are watching Inter Milan typically perform way better in the last few years, and it's hard to be a fan of the club, I bet, if you're in Italy as of late, and it gives hope. And I think that I think they go through on the last day.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that happen as well. Last game for the Champions League is me. Your boy gets to close it out. City beat PSG today, day of recording on Wednesday.
No, Pat beat PSG.
Shut up. Anyway, PSG took a 1-0 lead early, or not early, in the second half off of Mbappe, but I don't know, it was just kind of a lucky goal. They didn't really look good. It was just like the first game that we played against them. Like we dominated the ball, like looked pretty in control throughout the entire game. Unlike the first game we played against them in the group, they didn't get two fortunate goals. They only got one, and we actually converted our chances. We battled back, got a really hard fought 2-1 win. Gabriel Jesus came off the bench, made immediate impact. Bernardo Silva was my man of the match for sure. Statistics after the game, he went 47 for 47 with his passes, two key passes, an assist, one tackle completed, one dribble completed, two recoveries. He was absolutely everywhere. A phenomenal player. And I said at the start of the pod before we started recording, I kind of had what may be taken as a hot take. And here's my hot take. Next to Mohamed Salah, Bernardo Silva is comfortably the second best player in the world right now.
I don't know about that one.
Who's playing better than him right now?
Bro, you waited 80 minutes to say that? You waited 80 minutes to say that?
Who's playing better than him right now?
Cancelo.
Bernardo's been better than Cancelo this season. Bernardo Silva's comfortably the second best player.
That was fucking funny.
There's my hot take for the episode. I think Bernardo Silva is the second best player in the world right now.
Oh.
That is some spicy meatball.
That's how I feel.
Wow.
I mean, are we talking like in the last 4 weeks?
And the whole season. He's been amazing.
He's been good, but I feel
incredible, Mitchell.
Salah earns that chat about him being the best player in the world, though, because he's been doing it for like 5 years.
I think right now, Bernardo's number 2.
In the world?
In the world, absolutely. I don't think center mids get enough credit. He has easily been the second best player in the world right now.
Are you counting the other countries in Europe?
How long? Over the course of how long?
This season, he has been in stellar form.
As long as you're not trying to go back anywhere before that and talk about center mids, then that's fine. You could, as long as the tape starts in September, then I can't, verbalize much against that.
It is arguable.
I definitely can argue for you.
I can't argue for you, but it is arguable. However, the amount of fucking jerking we've done on the right back for your club.
Oh, well.
I mean, just looking at what Cancelo has produced for City, I feel like is so much more than what like Bernardo has done. He's been a far more complete player than Bernardo.
Absolutely not, dude. How many City games do you actually watch? Come on.
Hold
Come
on.
on. More complete player. Come on. Come
How
on.
How many assists does he have?
You're going to
How many
measure
assists?
central midfielder. You're going to measure a number 8 in goals and assists. We're not having this debate. No.
You're saying 47 passes in one game, 47 complete passes. You haven't backed anything before that, and you're saying he's the second best player in the world.
This is one game. He had one good game today, yes, but he has put these games in every single time he has walked out on the pitch. He's been City's most important player since like the middle of last season. He's right now, I think he's
against Liverpool. It was Foden and Cancelo.
It was Bernardo. He won man of the match. What are you on?
How did Bernardo win man of the match? It was Foden.
That game, it was Bernardo.
How?
I'm pretty sure he won the man of the match.
How did he win man of the match when Foden put in that performance?
I think it was Foden because Silva got toasted on that Salah goal.
He scored. Okay, yes, it's Salah. He's going to toast everyone. What do you mean?
Foden put in such a better performance than Silva in that game.
Mitchell, I don't think you've watched enough Bernardo Silva to be having this discussion.
I think I have a lot of bad Silva bias.
Bad. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I think there's more players on your side that have put in complete performances like Foden, like Cancelo, that should get a nod over that. I get what a midfielder does.
Number 2.
I personally really
dislike. If De
Bruyne
wasn't in bad form, you wouldn't be saying that.
That's why I
all
said
I'm going to
this
say.
Season, Mitchell.
I don't think he's the second best player in the world right now.
You're entitled to that opinion. I'm just stating mine. I think he's the second best right now.
All right, hold on. So you gave your hot take of the day already. So I guess you can answer the question if you want, but I only had one question coming on here, and that's the Ballon d'Or is getting handed out in the next few weeks.
Well, then it should. I think Messi's going to win.
Jorginho.
Why? I don't understand how Messi could win the Ballon d'Or. I don't understand.
What do you mean?
You know how I feel, and you know how I feel.
You think Jorginho should actually win the Ballon d'Or?
Can you make a legitimate argument against it?
He wasn't even
win the Copa America
club until Tuchel took over.
He didn't win the Copa America.
What do you need to win the Ballon d'Or?
He wasn't starting for Chelsea until Tuchel took over. And you're going to tell me he should win the Ballon d'Or?
In January, at the beginning of the calendar year, when the Ballon d'Or begins to be judged? Yes.
No way, dude. Come on.
Dude.
Come on.
You're gonna get at me with Bernardo Silva so
Jorginho
far.
winning the Ballon d'Or is like when Modric won it in 2018. It's a joke.
I mean, it wasn't a joke when he was the first.
That was a joke. It was a World
But
Cup
that's how
year,
the Ballon d'Or is judged. Salah was the
Cup.
best player in the world that year, but he didn't win anything. Liverpool lost the Champions. So what Bass is saying is like based on how the Ballon d'Or is judged, Jorginho has his rightful case to do so. Do I think he should win it? Absolutely not.
I think he'll be on the podium, and I think he probably deserves to be on the podium. He had a good year, but I don't think he was the best player of the year. No way.
I agree.
I don't know, man.
I think there's a case for him to win it based on how they judge, though.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Is like
that.
All I asked, I didn't ask who the best player in the world was, because everyone in this sitting here right now knows damn well who I think the best player in the world is and has been since he was 20 years old. But
well, okay, I want to agree with you, but I think it's Salah right now. You can't.
You wouldn't give Salah.
You can't tell me there's been somebody better than Salah over these past 18 months, dude. You just
no, but I mean, like, it's hard to it's hard for me, and like I don't know, maybe other people have this. It's hard for me to walk around and be like, yeah, like Salah is on like the same level as like Messi, and it's
right
like
now he is. Messi's got one goal in
right this second. Salah is the best player in the world.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
But when I asked the question about the Ballon d'Or, it's literally an award judged on the calendar year and who is a winner.
So you look at 2020 to 2021.
Nope. I look at 2000. I look at January 2021 to now.
No, the Ballon d'Or is for the year.
No, it's not. It's for the year, not the season. The year starts in January. January is the first month of the year, can confirm. And that's when they start judging. And that's when Tuchel took over. And that's when this weird, and I will admit this is weird, Jorginho regime began. And we're sitting here now, points clear, CL in hand, and, you know, one of the 4 teams, in my opinion, who could do it this year. And he's at the helm of it all. Italy won the Euro. He sat there in the middle and delivered, you know, masterpieces and missed a penalty in the end. Missed a penalty. The number one negative thing you can say about Jorginho not winning the Ballon d'Or is that he missed one penalty. Other than that, calendar year, there is nothing. There is nothing.
Dyed his hair blonde too. That should be deduction of like 5 points.
But I don't think he's been the best player over the course of a calendar year. I think Messi was a better player from 2020 to January, or whenever you're. I don't fully understand the actual time frames they do these things for. So maybe I'm just talking out of
January 1st, 2021 to
right.
whenever they cut it off during this calendar year.
So when Messi carried a dead Barcelona to a Copa del Rey and then won player of the tournament and won the Copa America with Argentina.
That is, yes, less things than what Jorginho did. Correct.
So they both won a trophy, and they both won an international trophy.
So do I need to ask you if you'd rather have the Copa del Rey or the Champions League next?
I'd obviously rather have the Champions League, but look at the team around Jorginho and the team around Messi. Look at this Barcelona side the minute he leaves.
Okay, so if it was Chelsea and Barcelona in the Champions League final in May, would you have picked Chelsea?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. I was about to walk out.
Absolutely. You put that Chelsea side against that Barca side, Messi or not, that's like 3-0 Chelsea. They're not fucking scoring.
Right. I don't know. It just feels like you're making my point for me, is what it feels like.
No. What do you mean I made your point for
you?
That's
what it feels like this conversation has been. Like,
Pat's broken.
Am I missing something?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm
everything.
You're missing what I've been trying to explain to you for like way longer than I should have been.
Sure. We can just move on because I guess I don't understand it either.
You guys want to move on to what I'm excited about?
This is Mitch's first week of his new segment.
I wish we had some like breaking news sound bit to insert here. We got the Fiorentina forecast this week.
Oh yeah, I did see this in the notes. Yeah, what is this?
Last week,
What is this?
we talked about Fiorentina going up against AC Milan. And everybody wanted to talk shit and say Fiorentina isn't going to do anything. They're going to lose. They're going to fucking lay down and get pumped by Milan. You want to know what they did, boys? You want to know what they did? They went out and beat AC Milan 4-3. Fiorentina breaks the streak against Milan at home. They live up to all the expectations. Vlahovic has a great weekend.
Yeah, he was sick.
And Zlatan Ibrahimovic misses out on his hat trick with an own goal. The second half in this game was fucking amazing. It was so fun to watch. This was a very, very fun game to watch, and I hope other people tuned in to watch this. But Fiorentina at home beats AC Milan 4-3. Let's just do a little.
Does Bass know the bet going on?
I don't know the bet, but looking at this now, I am forming an opinion on Fiorentina. It's not as we speak, but I know they're like high mid table, but like, you know, looking back at these match stats, I do have to say, like, whatever insanity transpired on this day, Saturday, November the 20th, was certainly an outplay by Milan, who just somehow fucked it all up in the end, is kind of what I'm assuming.
Mitch
without having
made a
watched.
crazy take at the beginning of the season that Fiorentina were a top 6 side in Italy, which is just completely talking out of his ass. And
Well, they're 4 points out of the top 4, Rick.
yeah, well, yeah, that's why it's backfiring. But
It's backfiring.
Pat, what do you have to buy Mitch if they get in the top 6?
If Fiorentina make the top 6, I have to find Mitchell one of those Nintendo Fiorentina kits, from the
Which
90s.
is one of the coolest jerseys that I have ever seen in my life, personally.
Can't wait.
Yes.
To not
But
when they
it does.
don't make top 6.
Mitch, how's the weather looking? Looks like by the time you record next week, you'll have Empoli and Sampdoria, aka the Sherlock Holmes team.
By the time we record next week, Fiorentina should have 6 more points.
You're right, based on Empoli and Sampdoria so far.
Yeah. I
Roma-
think they're going to get 6 points in these next 2 games.
Roma plays Torino and Bologna.
Bologna.
Bologna. Let's see what else the
Bologna.
table is saying. What else does the table tell me? Who does Inter play? Inter is playing Venezia and Spezia.
Napoli plays Lazio this weekend.
Napoli, Lazio.
Team in Serie A to not draw a game so far. There's 7 wins, 6 losses, no draws.
Interesting.
So
Fast and loose.
that was a huge 3 points. That Vlahovic being able to still produce while not wanting to be there is huge for me right now in my quest for a new kit.
That's a sick way of putting it.
Like, this was actually the first full Fiorentina match I've watched this year.
Oh, my God.
I specifically put this on as a big middle finger to everyone who told me no. I threw this match on and was pleasantly surprised at how my boys in purple produced against a side like AC Milan, who seems to be catching heat right now. They've started to catch that fire. They've started producing matches. They've started playing well. They're still in contention for a spot in the Champions League. So to be able to go out and get 3 points and put the big middle finger up to everyone who has doubted me and my boys in purple this year was huge. We've got 2 big matches upcoming this week, and I think we'll walk away with another 6 points. It's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of that Serie A table shakes out. It has been very, very close, with 4 points separating Fiorentina from 4th place, which is held by Atalanta solely. Roma is sitting in 5th on 22 points. And then Lazio, Fiorentina, and Juventus are all tied at 6th, 7th, and 8th with 21 points. So the Serie A is still incredibly close. It's tight. It's exciting football. And I think just watching that match is just going to drive me to want to watch more. I'm definitely going to be watching Fiorentina make the top 6 this year.
Yeah, it's a good use of that Paramount Plus subscription.
Thank you, Cameron.
I don't want to talk about Paramount Plus today, man. That is the worst fucking streaming.
It's dog shit.
I've
Out
ever
my
paid
ass.
for.
I had to reset like 4 times today while watching Golasso.
It's
It
dog
doesn't
shit.
work.
Yeah, it's tough. But speaking of World Soccer, Italy, we're going to do Rick's picks. Just break down a few matches here really quick. We're already 90 minutes in. It's a heater, so we'll fly through these. First one, Liverpool Southampton. It's one of the ones that kicks off the English Premier League weekend. I've rode Liverpool -1.5 the past 2 games. It's hit for me. This one's -125. That same thing, so Liverpool to win by 2 basically. I have this one every time Southampton has traveled to Anfield in the past 4 games. They have lost, and they have lost by a combined score of 12-0.
They're going to get murdered.
Yeah,
They're gonna get
Liverpool do well against Southampton, especially at Anfield, and with especially some rest of some players in the midweek, I think Liverpool come out excited and fresh, and I think they win it pretty easily.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good matchup against our academy side here.
Glad you got the joke in before I did.
Yes, thank you very much. No, Liverpool has been looking sublime lately, especially in a game like today where we get to rest our big names, Virgil, Trent not in the side, Robbo only playing about 25 minutes, Hendo playing about a half an hour. Our front three obviously getting sent out for the full 90. I don't know. I just love the direction that Liverpool's going in right now. Our midfield is starting to come back from injury. Thiago, Hendo, Milner, Ox, Fab, all names that are starting to get healthy. And it seems like Harvey Elliott is very close to getting back into that mix as well. Just very promising. Very promising. And I'm excited to see the second half of the season kick off. It's crazy. We're almost halfway through the year at this point. But I think our midfield's kind of getting back into form around all of those injuries, finding our footing, and then the depth we have with our youngsters is being put on full display right now. And I don't think anybody can dispute the fact how big performances like Nico Williams and Morton have been for us in these big away nights that are away from the Premier League. So
yeah, for sure.
I agree. That's going to be a lock for sure. Liverpool 1.5 with I would
agree. Crystal Palace Villa, the next one. I think this one's a little bit interesting. Just two new managers. Gerrard obviously won his first game in charge of Aston Villa last weekend. Nice 2-0 win against Brighton. This one I have Villa draw no bet. So basically Villa just can't lose. Draw, you get your money back. If they win, you obviously win. That one's at plus 140. So really valuable bet here. Not too much kind of behind it. It is at Selhurst Park. I just think Villa looked impressive enough at the end of that game against Brighton. I think they could do it against Palace, which has a pretty leaky defense this year.
Yeah, Palace.
Yep.
Are pretty below Brighton the way that the way that those guys have played this year. I think that that's a good shout. If you're coming out of that looking good and new manager, new everything, then you should come out and in theory do the same exact thing against a lesser side. So definitely agree with you there.
And next one, we're going to talk about Pat's team just for a second. Man City versus West Ham, probably the game of the weekend here. Two pretty class sides. West Ham, a little drop in form, little hiccup against Wolves last weekend. I actually have West Ham covering in this one, plus 1.5. So I think it'll be a 1-goal margin. Odds on that one are minus 105. I think West Ham bounce back, but I don't think they necessarily win or draw. I think a 1-goal margin in City's favor is a pretty fair shout for that. Any thoughts on that one, Pat?
I muted myself. Sorry. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think I'm feeling like maybe a 2-1, I think, to City, that game. I think it's going to be really, really tight. I could honestly even see us drawing. West Ham are a really, really good side. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Rick's pick is safe, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see like a 2-2 come out of this game or a 1-1.
I actually want to turn and go the other way with it. West Ham, losing Ogbonna for the season is
tough.
It's a blow,
that's
and
a really big loss.
I have to think this is a good side the way they've played, but that is big, and the way that City are playing, like West Ham's back line, if they are going to snatch a draw, is going to have to step up. I don't know what the morale about losing a player, the caliber of what Ogbonna has done this season, is going to do to them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see City kind of pull a little more from than what some are thinking to get out of this game. But that aside, I think West Ham are a side capable of scoring against big clubs, and sometimes all it takes is one. All it takes is one and a lucky bounce to get two. And
Yep.
So I definitely see that pick coming to fruition. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see City break out against this team and have a good day, especially after the high of beating a team, even though it's at home, even though PSG are what they are, beating PSG and then turning around, like things have got to be good for them right now. So
Yeah, but, no De Bruyne, probably no Foden, and no Grealish. So the attacking options aren't totally there for us. So that's why I'm only thinking like it's probably going to be a 1-goal game.
And I don't necessarily think we've given Ogbonna the nod that he's deserved this year. I think a lot of people looking at West Ham look at the Fornals, the Rice, the Antonio, of course, before you look at that defensive line. And I think Ogbonna being out for the year is a massive blow to this side. But I think their offensive acumen is gonna bode well for them moving forward. I think they just need to kind of keep doing what they're doing. Their midfield and their attacking presence are going to bode well for them moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. They do still have Zuma back there. Zuma's played well since he came over from Chelsea, so interesting to see how that plays out. Last Premier League game to talk about here. Only have 6 picks this week. We're being a little conservative with the picks, trying to get some more realistic ones here.
Not we, you.
Yeah, me. I'll take the blame for all of them.
I mean, it is called Rick's Picks for a reason.
We're going to do a value pick here. This one is the highest value odds pick of the week, and it's kind of just a fun one to throw out because, it has the high odds for a reason. It's because Chelsea do play a little bit more conservatively, but they've been scoring goals, and they've been doing it against good sides. I have Chelsea minus 1.5, plus 180. So huge odds on this one. I just like it because I think Man United have been awful, and they haven't really made a change big enough to get that manager bump. And I think Chelsea could exploit them. And, a 2-0 result in favor of Chelsea really isn't that crazy of a result, especially at the Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, even 3-1 is like
exactly
that far out of the water. I love the clean sheets we've had. I know it's not, perfect all the time, but we're on a great run of form defensively, and I do look at it as a trap game. I do get nervous when I see teams that are down on their luck playing against us. You think back to Christmas time last year, the most obvious game in the world, we were going to kick the shit out of Arsenal at Christmas time. Nope. Everyone knew it, and then we just go and lose 3-0. It made no sense. Yeah. And I do worry about games like that feel and seem obvious, but I think from a betting perspective and form and statistics and everything, that I can definitely see Chelsea coming away looking great.
Yeah. And then moving over to Italy, we have Napoli, Lazio. I have the Napoli money line here, minus 135. So Napoli are favored just a little bit in this one. They've won 8 out of their last 10 matches against Lazio, so that's kind of the main reason for the pick here. They're coming off that loss to Inter Milan. They got kind of rocked by Milan this past weekend, so I do think they'll bounce back. That's the thought behind that one. And then Real Madrid, Sevilla to kind of close things out on Rick's picks. I have this one over 2.5 goals, minus 125. So another minus odds picks. But Real Madrid haven't lost in the Liga since October the 3rd. And 7 out of the last 8 head-to-head matches between these two sides has gone over 2.5 goals. So I favor it quite a bit here. Those are Rick's picks for the week.
Better than 5 and 8.
I'm hoping
5 and 8 really isn't bad. You're still making money if they're plus odds.
It's not bad. We are up above 500 this weekend, but we'll take a look at the totals. We'll get a total number for next week to see where we're sitting at.
The 3 for 11 week hurt.
That was a tough week. That was a tough week, but I think we're finding kind of that stretch of season where it's more definitive. It's more, okay, we have our bearings about us. There are tournaments and like AFCON coming up that we know will throw a wrench into how things go. We got UCL coming back in 3.5, 4 weeks. So we've got a nice stretch of games of strictly Premier League football. And it'll be a lot of fun, or Serie A, or whatever league you support. It's going to be a good few weeks, and then we're just a month out from Boxing Day football. We're
Oh
a
yeah, that's
month
when shit gets
away
fun.
from the midpoint of the season. So, I mean, it's been an exciting season up to this point, boys. It's been a lot of interesting stuff. I feel like this has been a lot of moving parts so far. I feel like this year has been so much more change than we've seen in the last, I don't know, 6 years.
It's one of the first Premier League seasons that's actually felt pretty open. There's like, 3 teams that can really go and win it.
Agree.
I mean, open to a sense, but not as much in the sense that it's not 6 teams, 7 teams in the mix. We've already kind of narrowed it down to those 3 clubs that it's like it's wide open between those 3 clubs.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean,
still
look at
exciting.
2017 and look at the 17-18, the
Yep.
18-19, and then 19-20 were all, and even last year it was City ran away with it, Liverpool ran away from it, City
Yep.
and Liverpool ran away from everyone, and then
Yep.
City ran away with it. So it's the first time in 5-6 seasons that we're going to Boxing Day and every game is actually going to matter.
Yep.
Every single point matters, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting second half of the season. We're almost to the winter transfer window. So we're going to have some exciting stuff to talk about coming up. We're going to see what happens, what moves are made, and who is really defining themselves as the clear-cut Premier League leaders.
Looking forward to it. So that was our episode, I think.
Yes.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is a little bit of a long one. Things got a little bit heated in the middle there. I still stand by what I said. If you got this far, really appreciate you guys.
That's why I come on here, though. That's why I came on to
Really appreciate you guys tuning in.
come
Bass,
on here to kiss people's hands. I didn't come here to kiss babies, shake hands, kiss hands, shake babies.
Don't shake babies. You'll give them shaking baby syndrome.
Yeah. Right.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Bass. That's one thing we should say. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Bass.
Anytime, call me, beat me. I will put up the Bass signal in the sky, and I'll always show up.
Got
We
you.
just got to get a fish on a flashlight.
Yeah.
If you made it this far in the episode and you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you always know every time that we post a new video. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, any other podcasting sources that I've missed that Anchor just puts us on anyway, please, subscribe, download the episode, tell a friend. When you go to Thanksgiving, this episode comes out after Thanksgiving. When you're hanging out with your family the morning after Thanksgiving, plug it into your speaker system and put it on 60 and blast the episode through your entire household.
Yeah, on Black Friday when you get back from the shops, all the stuff.
While you're out on Black Friday. And I hope some of the chaos that we bring to this episode can help you really power through your Black Friday shopping.
Main Stand running a Black Friday deal. All episodes are free to listen to.
About goddamn time. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Been paying to listen to these episodes.
Yeah, nobody told me. I was $5 an episode, and now we're here.
Venmoing us all $5 when he listens.
All right. I think that's enough from us. Everybody, hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving because this is coming out after.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Spend lots of money on Black Friday on kits that you want. And we will all see you next week.
Deuces.
Peace.
Peace.